Therapy is not evaluated on a merit-based system where if you put in enough effort, you'll get an A+ and then I'll write you a letter of recommendation. That's not what we do here. Okay, hi everybody. Today we're doing another 5 things style video. This one I think is going to be kind of fun, as if they all haven't been fun. So we're talking about 5 things that your therapist wants you to know. I'm really excited about this. I've had this list in the works for a little while, and so yeah, I guess that's it. We'll just get into it. Okay, so thing number 1 that I want to talk about is that we are not invested in being right. When I say this, what I mean is that as a therapist, sometimes we will make educated guesses or ask questions, and kind of like the way that I always phrase it is, I wonder if it's X, Y, and Z. Basically what I'm getting at is that as a therapist, sometimes we make educated guesses based on the information that you give us. That does not mean that we're going to be upset or pissy or irritated at you if you're like, no, that's not it. Sometimes I might disagree with a client where like I'll see a behavior pattern happening and say like, I wonder if there's a pattern to this kind of behavior, and they'll say no, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's what I mean to, and that's one of the other things that's really important here is that a good therapist, even if they disagree with you or if they feel like maybe you don't fully see that yet, a good therapist shouldn't argue with you because it's not about our ego. My self-worth is not tied up in being right or having an educated guess be correct all of the time. And so, especially when your therapist asks you a question about, I wonder if this is because of this, it's okay for you to say, no, that's not it at all. Or for you to be like, no, that's not why I do that. That's not what I was thinking. That's not what I was feeling, especially. So yeah, your therapist really doesn't or shouldn't give a shit about being right or wrong. Our job here is to help you and to make sure that you are moving in the direction you want to move. Okay, thing number 2, you are not annoying to us. Especially, this comes up a lot when people are like, oh my gosh, I'm all over the place, or I'm talking too fast, or none of these things are related, or I'm not making any sense. None of that is annoying. It doesn't bother me, especially at an intake session where like this is the first time that we've talked about your issues and your stuff. It's totally okay for you to jump back and forth between this thing and that thing and then this thing and like all over the place, right? Because especially for people who are new to therapy, you've never done this before. And also too, having your thoughts organized in like an easily digestible format is not your job. My job as a therapist is to catch the things that people throw at me all day. And so even if you are being super all over the place, very disorganized or chaotic, like please understand that you are not the first person to do that to me today, and you will absolutely not be the last. So again, it's my job as a therapist to pick up all of the chaotic pieces that people have. And sometimes that's really the purpose of therapy too, is for a person to lay out all of the disorganized, chaotic, and confusing pieces so that you can then organize them and put them in order and make sense of them and kind of figure out, how do I feel about this? What's going on with this? So no, you're never annoying to us. You're not bothering me. It isn't upsetting or like shocking to me when somebody is all over the place and is having a hard time making sense of their thoughts. That's literally what we do all day. And so please know that we are never annoyed at you or frustrated by that, like ever. Or at least we shouldn't be. Good therapists are not. Okay, thing number 3, it's okay if the therapeutic relationship is not a good fit. The caveat with this is that if it's not a good fit, please just say something, because this has happened sometimes where I, as the therapist, have felt like maybe this isn't a good fit, we don't align, I'm not the right therapist for this job. And so obviously I'm comfortable voicing that and bringing that into the room and letting a person know I think it would be wise for me to refer you out. But a lot of times when a client feels like it's not a good fit or like things aren't jiving, what will happen is that they will just ghost you. They will just disappear into the night, which is fine, and it's not a big deal. We're not like, at least I am not mad when this happens. But if you feel like it's not a good fit, that's totally okay. That happens. That's a normal part of therapy. Therapy is deeply personal, and so it's important for you to vibe with your therapist on some level. But if you feel like it's not a good fit, just say something. Any good therapist would be like, okay, great, I'm so glad that you brought it up. If it's important to you, we can work through it and see if we can maybe adjust some things, or if I can adjust my approach to make it feel like a better fit. Or if you prefer, I can refer you out and give you resources to help you along your journey to find another therapist. But it is so much more paperwork for me. Like I have to make several phone calls, and then I have to document all of this stuff to make sure that I can prove that I didn't ghost you. So if it's not a good fit, just say something. Really, if you can avoid it. I know that it's uncomfortable and it's hard and it's like kind of a shitty conversation to have, but if you can avoid it, please don't ghost your therapist. That's like the number one thing that is like an unnecessary paperwork generator. I guess this one is sort of twofold, but number 3 is that if it's not a good fit, that's okay. But also, like, please just say something. Okay, thing number 4 is that you are not paying me to be your friend. Therapists are never allowed to be their clients' friends anyways, but also sometimes people have this perception that being in therapy means that you're paying someone to be your friend or to listen to you. That's not the case, especially when people talk about, you're just paying somebody to agree with you. Like, no. My job as a therapist is not to just gas people up and be like, yeah, you're so right all the time. That's not clinically appropriate. And sometimes people really do need a space to grow into the realization that like, oh, this thing I've been doing is kind of problematic and maybe I should stop. And again, there's a way to do that with kindness and compassion. But my job as a therapist is not to be somebody's friend. That's highly unethical anyways. We've talked about this before on the channel, but I'm not allowed to be my client's friend. In no capacity am I allowed to have a relationship with a client, a former client, ever. Like even after 30 years have passed and this person is no longer a client of mine, I am not allowed to be their friend. This is for a very specific and ethical reason. And so your therapist is a paid professional to help you. And the relationship is very personal. It is very intimate. And so there is kind of a connection that happens between a therapist and a client. But again, you're not paying us to be your friend or to agree with you all the time or just to be somebody who is like lying to you and just like endlessly supportive. That's not the purpose of therapy. And so, yeah. There you go. Okay, number 5 is that you cannot get, or at least with me as a therapist, you cannot get 100% or an A+ in therapy. That's not what we do here. Therapy is not evaluated on a merit-based system where if you put in enough effort, you'll get an A+ and then I'll write you a letter of recommendation. It doesn't work that way. Therapy is about you and the progress that you want to make. And so you can like succeed in therapy in the sense that if you're meeting the goals that you've set for yourself or you're making progress on the things you wanted to make progress on, that feels good. That's exciting. And that's, like a goal reached, but I'm never going to give you a 100% or an A+ and tell you like, good job, kid, you're done. Because it doesn't work that way, first of all. None of us will ever be done growing. And so there's no 100% bar that you can reach in therapy anyways. But also it's just not appropriate. Because again, it's not about me. What that does is place value on my opinion of your progress. And that's not the point. Some people do really want the approval of their therapist and they want to feel like their therapist is proud of them and likes them. And I will tell my clients when they do something that's like super awesome that like, I hope that you're proud of you because I am very proud of you today. But again, never, at least me as a therapist, I won't give people 100% or an A+ because again, it's not about me. I want you to feel proud of you because you see your progress, not because me as an outsider is again, like gassing you up or encouraging you just for the sake of. So yeah, this was just kind of a quick one. Like I said, I hope that you guys like this or find it interesting or helpful. If you guys have questions about stuff like this, or if you have other things that you would want to know, put them in the comments. I'm happy to keep making videos like this. But yeah, there you go. There's 5 things that your therapist wants you to know. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We've got a fun mix of content and I would love for you to stay and watch more of the stuff so that we can start a mental health revolution together. And then share the video to help each other grow and to help the channel grow. And that was backward, but I don't care enough to redo it. So I'll see you next Friday. Okay, bye.